Give a manor, take a manor. The Rise and Decline of a Medieval Manor. By Murray Johnston. Dedicated to Andrew Eden and the many lords of ancient Watford, who have come and gone before, and the lands of Watford parish, which forever grow older but never change. The people come and go, but lands remain and never move. Like a great jigsaw puzzle, matching piece to piece has been a pleasure, and for what remains, the search continues. Richard de Clare crosses with the conqueror Edward the Confessor, King of England, left no clear heir when he died in January 1066. The only English claimant to the monarchy was Harold Godwinson, who was crowned in the same month. He immediately faced complications. Two others wanted the throne. Hardrada, the King of Norway, was the first to pursue his claim. He and his Viking force invaded the north of England in September of 1066. King Harold, a skilled general, hurried north with his army to protect his crown and defeated Hardrada in a surprise attack near York. While the king was busy fighting in the north, the other contender to the English throne, Duke William of Normandy, readied his invasion fleet on the coast of France. William claimed King Edward had promised him the throne, so he firmly believed he was the chosen successor. The Duke's army landed on England's south coast near Hastings on almost the same day as Harold's victory in the north of England. Harold and his battle-weary army hastily returned south. Less than 3 weeks after his victory in the north, Harold's tired army of perhaps 7,000 faced the forces of Duke William in the south. The location, later named Battle, was a few miles from Hastings. The Duke's army was greater in number than Harold's and arguably better equipped with horsemen and archers. Throughout the day of October 14, the battle raged. William's men finally weakened Harold's defences with a feigned flight maneuver. Many of Harold's leaders were killed, with Harold himself dead from an arrow through his eye, according to some narrators. Duke William was crowned King of England in December 1066. Those who helped the Duke in the defeat of King Harold were richly rewarded. As was common practice by the victor in a conflict, William stripped lands from Harold's supporters and granted them to his favourites. Richard Fitz-Gilbert, Count of Eu and Brionne in Normandy, was one of 36 elite knights who accompanied the Duke of Normandy to lead the swift conquest of England in 1066. The existing network of parishes across England formed the framework for the king's land grants. Larger parcels of land within a parish came to be called manors. However, a grant was not free of obligation. According to Norman custom, in return for the right to hold and use the king's lands in the future, recipients owed the king the service of a knight's fee. Initially, such service was performed as a soldier or knight in the king's army for a fixed period of time whenever called upon by the king. Richard Fitz-Gilbert was given many manors and parcels of lands mainly in Suffolk, Essex, Surrey, and Kent. One of the most important was the town of Clare in Suffolk, which prompted him to take the name Richard de Clare and adopt a coat of arms presenting a gold shield with red chevrons. 20 years after his conquest of England, King William decided to find out exactly what lands he owned, what they were worth, and to whom he had given them. He sent his surveyors across the country and had their findings recorded in the Domesday Book. In turn, the book became the basis for the king's taxes on those who held the manors and lands by right of knight's fee. The survey is now a great source of knowledge of times nearly 1,000 years past. Gilbert, Richard de Clare's second son, had grown to be a young man in his early 22nd by the time of the king's Domesday survey of 1086. Richard's many land holdings were recorded in the survey. At the time, Richard was in the process of retiring, and before the survey was taken, he handed over his Northamptonshire lands to Gilbert. Gilbert had not yet adopted the name de Clare, new to his father at the time of the survey. Instead, he was given an alias, the Cook, which distinguished him from other Gilberts, for example, Gilbert de Gaunt. He appears in Domesday as Gisleberti Cocus, or Gilbert the Cook. The lands of Gilbert the Cook in 1086 comprised 2 manors and 2 minor land holdings, all in Northamptonshire. One of Gilbert's manors was the parish of Watford in Guilsborough Hundred. The surveyors recorded that Watford supported 4 ploughs, used on arable land for growing crops. The land was valued at only 2 hides. Half of the ploughs and 2 serfs were based on the lord's own land. The other 2 ploughs were worked by 2 tenants. Each rented a small piece of land from the lord, and often worked for him as well. 5 peasants also toiled on the tenants.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?